or something off. Every time I sit down, it's just like things aren't clicking right. This is fine. I think it will do. I filmed it and I did kind of browse at the footage just now, and I was blocking it with my head almost the whole time. So I am kind of working on that reel currently. The fall footage is really, really beautiful, so I'll put like all of that.
Alright, hi. I hope you guys have been doing well since the last time I posted. I took a break from everything just because I had some really big life changes, like getting a full-time job and the holidays and whatnot. But yeah, we're starting this video off with me messing around with mason stains, which I think I talked about in my last video. Can't really quite remember. But yeah, so I'm out here wedging clay and incorporating the mason stain into it rather than going the easier route and making my clay into a slip and then making the mason stain mix with the slip. That's a more like cleaner way to do things, effective way. And because I was just working on a small scale and wanted to just play around, it just made more sense for me to try the wedging method anyway, since I'm wedging way less clay. Ended up hating it. It's really gross, really messy, really tiring. Totally would recommend the other method, which is where you turn your clay into slip, put your mason into slip, you dry the slip on plaster slabs, and then you have your clay. I was scared it was going to stain my wedging board, which is just MDF board and a piece of like industrial canvas stapled onto it. And that's why I brought out the parchment paper. And later in the video, you do see me like seeing like, well, was I crazy? And I wasn't. The stuff can really stain your fabric. But, you know, that's up for you to decide if you want to do that. noticed when I was pinching that the clay itself felt a lot drier, but if I moistened it, then it would be way too wet to use. It started becoming quite a fickle clay, which was kind of a surprise. But I think part of that is just because I probably didn't wedge it enough. I feel like that could have been avoided if I went the slip route. But who knows? With the clay, it's just Moroccan sand, and then I added a certain amount of black to it. And then I also took my B mix and added the different colored mason stains so that way they would be brighter. So I sort of made like a tortoiseshell looking cup with the Moroccan sand and then the black stained Moroccan sand. Blah, 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 blah. And then I also took the leftover black and made sort of like this wacky, janky, for a worse term, I don't know, cup as well. I've just kind of embraced zero perfection and stayed relaxed with the whole thing since this was kind of the first project I was doing after my break from clay. watching the big boy being built. Yeah, this is the biggest thing I've ever made. Pretty stoked about it. Yeah, so I built the base not recorded, like off camera. And essentially I started with the way you see me start the top, which is I pinch potted a really large base, not worrying about the width getting any, going crazy. And then once I ran out of that clay, I just built coils on top of it. And I didn't want to resurface the outside. I was really enjoying the finger marks I was making. Because the problem with hand building and also just like working in a small space is there's a bit of extra imperfection going into my work. And I thought leaving the fingerprints would sort of more complement the piece rather than completely smoothing it out and trying to perfect it. And then you see all of these like possible lumps and bumps in the structure of the vase. So that makes it sound like a cop-out. It's not. I really like how cozy this piece is. But yeah, here I'm trimming the bottom of the base. I left the bottom really thick so I could be doing this. And the reason why I did it now versus at the end is because I didn't want to squash the top. And yeah, so I thought this was a good time to be doing it. I left it pretty simple because I was aiming more for structure than aesthetics. I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't really plan this out. I kind of just was like, hey, what shape is this gonna be? Oh, here we go. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. Okay. Now, I got impatient. And I was like, let's put the top on. And you can see here how stupid of an idea that was. Everything's sagging. It looks really bad. But I just wanted to do it. Partially because I'm stubborn. Partially because the majority big piece was a little too dry for me to be doing what I'm doing, and I didn't want that problem to reoccur. So I was like, you know what? The top is smooth enough for me to or soft enough for me to smoothen down. Let's do it. But it resulted into some structural problems. Yeah. Not the brightest idea I had. You can kind of see where, one, it's starting to sag near the top of the vase. It was so soft, plastic, heavy. So yeah, you can just see a lot of warping. As much as I knew the warping was a problem, I utilized the fact I had trapped air and started whacking the hell out of my pot to reshape it. Trapped air in a piece sort of acts as this resistance and allows you to form your shape a little bit more. So I'm sort of slapping it with this upward motion to try and make the transition from the body to that main curve a little more uniform throughout the whole piece. And I wasn't worried about the surface changing, because I could just go back in and re-dimple it with my fingers. So yeah, you see me put on this patch, and then I was like, you know what? It might be better if I just wait. So I waited until I could comfortably open up the top of the piece to smooth it from the inside out. I hope this all makes sense. I haven't tried this watching the footage and record. And it's been a while since I've made this piece, and I'm recording my take on it. Would I do this again? Yeah. I'm doing it again right now. I have a better clay suited for this sort of thing. I'm not going to record it. I think I'm just going to make the piece off camera, because sometimes that's really necessary. Oh my god. It is just so soft. What was I thinking? Just so you guys know, this piece is fine. It turned out fine. I let it dry overnight, or over a couple days maybe, with a Tupperware and sponges holding it up. We'll see how it does in the firing, because, clay holds memory. It could just decide in the firing, let's sag again. That would be horrible.